Hey guys, I'm Chase Brogan, and today in this video we're going to unbox, demo, and review this M15 plug-and-play game stick right here. Now, this advertises over 30,000 plug-and-play retro video games in here. We've got 15 different emulators incorporated into the mix, and this simply plugs into your HDMI port on your TV or monitor. Now, you do have to power this with a USB-A connection, but that's it. It just simply plugs into the backside of your TV or monitor and you're good to go. It comes with two controllers as well. So we're going to unbox this, take a look at what it has to offer, and see if it's worth the whole $20 and change that this actually costs brand new on AliExpress. So let's dive into it and see what we've got. Alright guys, so here is the packaging right here, nicely packaged. We've got clear view on pretty much all sides exactly what this has inside. We've got the actual game stick right over here, and then we've got two controllers that look just kind of like PlayStation or PlayStation 2 controllers here. So let's start opening this up, and there we go. We've got the game stick located right on top. In fact, this is way smaller than what I was anticipating. This is it, 4K Ultra HD Game Stick Pro. And if we take this end off here, that's where we have our HDMI connection. So this is the same as a regular HDMI cable, and you just plug this directly into your TV or monitor's HDMI port. Now, underneath this, I'm going to set that aside, we have a loose USB-A dongle here. I believe this is for the controllers. And here are the two controllers here. So yeah, just like I said before, very similar to that of like a PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2 controller. We've got dual analog sticks here, A, B, X, and Y here rather than the shapes. And then we have our shoulder and trigger buttons up here at the top, D-pad on the left, dual analog sticks, and then we have our on and off button right here in the center, so we just go ahead and flip that to on. You're going to use one USB-A dongle for both controllers here. Since it's just me today, I'm going to be just setting up one of these, but both will work with the same receiver, and it runs off of AAA batteries here for the controller. So go ahead and set that aside. I got to grab some batteries. Here's the other one, identical. And now inside here we have a 8GB SanDisk SD card, micro SD card rather. We have a USB-A cable connection right here, and that's how we're going to actually power this. So this cable connects over to the game stick just like so. Other end here is going to plug into your TV or monitor, or if you have another source for USB-A connection, you can go ahead and plug it into that. But most TVs will have a USB-A connection, usually right beside the HDMI port. This is an extender right here, so if you wanted to extend your connection, which actually I'll probably use this today, all you're going to do is just simply plug the stick into this end like so, and now you have a little bit more leeway here, so you can get around like the nooks and crannies behind your TV or monitor very easily with that. And then we also have a user manual right here, and I'm just going to kind of thumb through this real quick. It does have images on here as well, which for visual learners like myself is going to be huge, but let's see, just kind of walks through the layout and design, your main menu functions, settings, controls, all that good stuff. So I will go ahead and drop that in here. That is everything in the box. So I'm going to put one controller back. I only need one today. So now we do have this 8GB SanDisk micro SD card that I just showed you guys, but inside here already in the micro SD card slot is a 64GB micro SD card. It's a generic branded one, and I believe that probably has all our games on it. So we're going to test everything out that way, and then I'll go ahead and put this in there as well to see what this has to offer. But 64GB is the only chance we have of coming anywhere near 30,000 games. There's no way to get 30,000 games on a 8GB micro SD card. So we're going to start over here. I'll go ahead and plug this in, and we'll see what's waiting for us. Alright, so here we are loaded up into everything. We're going to jump into our all games list first. So all games list is going to be our master list for everything included on here. And now one thing that I noticed right off the bat is that we start with K here, and it's actually abbreviated because this is King of Fighters 97, KOF 97. Would be something that's kind of hard to find because first off, we're not starting in the A's up here. And also, how many people are going to think to look for KOF? The majority of people are looking for it to actually spell out King of Fighters. So, it can be a little bit tough to locate. But actually, let's go up the opposite way. Let's see if we have over 30,000 games on here. We do. All right, so 30,410 total games on here. And I imagine that we do have duplicates. I mean, we're seeing, two of the same game right here. Now they're different versions, I'm sure, but still the same game more or less. We've got some Super Donkey Kong for Game Boy over here. It looks like GB would be Game Boy. That's the Japanese version. So it appears that we're actually in alphabetical order here, which is strange. So we start up there, Super, and then it goes to B, then it goes to C. So yeah, that's alphabetical order. Let's scroll down this way though. Maybe it just kicks off with King of Fighters and then it goes to our A titles and whatnot. It doesn't seem to. So it's kind of like a random assortment of games here. Everything's just kind of thrown together. Now, I do see one of my favorite games there, WWF WrestleFest, so I love that that's included in here. So for anybody that's looking for that game, rest assured it's here, but it's just luck of the draw locating games here. So I'm going to back out of this one. We have our favorites list here. We would actually go in here ourselves and customize this. You want to be able to easily locate things. And, you know, if you find, like for me, WWF WrestleFest, I want to be able to locate that easier than just kind of scrolling and, again, luck of the draw finding it. I can just add it to my favorites list. So that's pretty cool. We also have our history. So if you just played WrestleFest, it would be in here. It'll actually pull your last 50 titles and have that in your history, so that's cool. Now we have search here, and then it looks like we go into individual collections, which is great. But let's try the search out. So obviously, like there right on screen here, it says KOF input. So we know that King of Fighters is abbreviated, so you may have to get creative with certain titles, but let's see if Sonic's on here. And we have our search results over here on the left-hand side. So we can go over here now, and here's our list, right? So we have Super Mario and Sonic 2. We have what's labeled as just Sonic here. I don't know if that's the original Sonic the Hedgehog. It's kind of random once again. And all right, there we go. We've got Sonic the Hedgehog down here, Sonic 1. I'm not going to go through each of these, but I imagine we do have some duplicates here because just the way that it's labeled. I've seen a couple Sonic the Hedgehogs. So, you know, I mean, it gets you by. You'll be able to locate stuff, but, you know, it can be a little bit tricky, I think. Now, let's see if we clear this. Let's see if we type in WWF WrestleFest, because we know how that's located in here. It's spelled out correctly, as far as we saw anyways. And there we go. We've got WrestleFest populating in on the... I'll just leave it like this. We'll go down the list. So we've got WrestleFest as our top option here, so that's one. I want to look for duplicates because I'm seeing WWF WrestleMania Challenge there in here multiple times. And yes, there's different versions, European, Japanese, USA. Just depends on what you're looking for. For me, I don't need all those versions, but some people like all that. We've got WWF Superstar 1 and 2. Superstar 1 and 2 again, so definitely duplicates in here. Not seeing another WrestleFest yet. A lot of WWF Superstars though, so yeah, lots of duplicates in here. I know some of those are Game Boy games there. I still haven't seen WrestleFest other than that first one though. Lots of Superstars though. I mean, look at how many times Superstars is in here. Arcade's in here multiple times. Super WrestleMania, we've seen that countless times now. So yeah, unfortunately there are a lot of duplicates in here, and again, Superstar 1 and 2, 1 and 2. There's 4 sets right here on this page. Alright, so WrestleFest is only in here once as far as I can tell, unless they've abbreviated that differently for duplicates, but we saw that there are still a lot of duplicates. So that kind of answers some questions here. I think they're padding the numbers considerably if, you know, if you figure there's multiple of almost every title in here, 30,000 games, your true count is much less. But let's take a look at Arcade Classics here. Again, abbreviated, and it's, you know, just random. It's not in alphabetical order, clearly, if we're starting on K. So, you know, it does, I think there's 90 pages here. I think it does, you know, kind of get you in the ballpark, so to speak, for what you're looking for, but still a little bit tough. We've got some more arcade games in here for Final Burn. Let's back out. Family Computer now. Inside here we've got 644 pages. That's a lot of games. And this, I would imagine, is probably combining, you know, US and Japanese releases. So that would, you know, account for that massive amount of pages, which means there's even more titles in there. We've got Game Boy Advance in here. And they're smart to not put the duplicates side by side, so you know you have to kind of comb through here to find out that there's a lot of duplicates, but it doesn't tell you either how many titles there are, and the count over there, you can see it's just pulling the count number from your master list. So you have to go off of the pages. So right here we have 10 pages, and you got to figure each one has about, it looks like 11 titles, 10 or 11 titles per page. So you can kind of do the math on it, and we can scroll through the different pages here. But yeah, it's not the easiest to locate things like Sonic the Hedgehog 2. That's clearly not Sonic the Hedgehog 2 over here, so there's definitely a disconnect. But for 25 bucks, it's really, I mean, it's sweet to be able to just have access to all these ROMs. Now, Game Boy Color, big Game Boy Color fan here. And we can see, again, there's duplicates all over the place, but still gives you 129 pages. Again, 10 to 11 games per page. It's a lot of games in here. Game Boy, Sega Master System, Super Nintendo. How many Super Nintendo pages? 281 pages. So again, 10 or 11 times, and what do we have? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Actually, there's 12 on here. So 12 games per page, 281 pages, a lot of games. We don't have to do the math on that, but it's a lot of games here. We've got Indiana Jones Adventure here. I love this game. Awesome game. So lots of stuff. Super graphics. We've got Sega Game Gear. We've got PlayStation. What do we have for PlayStation? We've got just 3 pages. Again, 12 times 3. And I'm just going up to see. So we've got WWF WrestleMania, the arcade in here. I'm going to definitely dive into some gameplay demos here. And I want to jump into PlayStation specifically, simply because PlayStation is one of the more advanced titles, or excuse me, one of the more advanced collections on here. That emulator, you know, requires a lot more than something like Game Gear or Game Boy Color, for example. So we've got Neo Geo Pocket, Wonder Swan Color, PC Engine, and then we're back to our all games list. So that's everything that this includes. But I mean, yeah, I'm not crazy about the layout and design of this. However, there's still a lot of games on here, a lot of ROMs. You could come in here and kind of Frankenstein together your own setup if you wanted to. Say you wanted to just pay, you know, pay 20, 25 bucks for access to all these ROMs. I mean, you have them right here, so you could go in here and extract all of that really, really easily. So I'm going to jump into some gameplay demos. We'll see what the experience is like overall here, and we'll jump out and talk about the experience. All right, guys, we jumped in here and we checked out this game stick right here. Plug and play, ready to go with over 30,000 games on here. Now, there are 30,000 files on here. There's a lot of duplicates, and one could argue that they're not exact duplicates. There's, in a lot of cases, a European version, a USA version, and of course an Asian version for a lot of the titles. So I count them as duplicates. Some people will argue that they're not true duplicates because they're different versions. Yes, they are, but do you need 3 different versions of every single game? Not really. So there are a lot of duplicates on here. I think 30,000 plus games on here is wildly off from the reality. Realistically, you're probably closer to, when considering all the duplicates, you're probably closer to, like, I would say, being generous, 14,000, 15,000 games. And I'm not, it's nothing to, be unhappy about, other than the fact that they're marketing a different number. It is what it is. Before I start ripping this thing to pieces, let me highlight the price point here. $21.31 at the time of this recording. We can stop the video right here. $21.31 is an incredibly low price. If even like a handful of games work on here, and the majority of games do work on here, it's worth it. So you don't even have to use it like it is. You can take the micro SD card out, you can extract ROMs, put together your own setup, and just use it simply for the ROMs if you really wanted to, for convenience sake. But yeah, I'm not going to rip it to pieces here. The layout, it's not really, great. If you're familiar with like a Pandora box product, it's very much aligned with that. There's abbreviated titles. Some things are in alphabetical order, some things aren't, some things are miscategorized. I jumped into Sonic the Hedgehog, or what said it was Sonic the Hedgehog, and it launched Golden Axe. It's just very hit or miss, but the games do work for the most part. I can't say that everything works. I didn't jump into every single title on here, but the majority do. PlayStation even played very well without lags or delays, so I thought that was really cool. The games actually have the soundtrack too, which oftentimes with smaller capacity setups, they'll remove the audio, or the soundtrack audio, just to save on space, and they didn't do that here, so I thought that was pretty cool. It definitely is way better than any other game stick like this I've tried out in the past. It's been months and months since I've reviewed anything similar, and the only reason that I really gave this a shot was because of that ridiculously low price point. I thought it would be pretty tragic, and it's actually better than the majority of the other options that I've seen. If this was priced at like $50, I would say it's totally not worth it, but at $21 and change, it's worth it. It really is. You could throw this into a guest room if you have an Airbnb, throw it in there as built-in entertainment. If you're traveling to hotels, you could plug this into the TV set in your hotel room and play some games. If games work, great. If there's some that don't work, $21 and change, are you really going to complain about it? Somebody will, but I'm not going to. So I thought it was worth every penny here. There weren't a whole lot of pennies in the price point, so it is what it is. I actually did try this SanDisk 8GB micro SD card that was provided in here as well, and nothing loaded up. So I think it's just a blank SD card. I don't know if it was thrown in here by mistake or if it was just thrown there in here as like a gift, but I don't know. It is what it is, but the 64GB micro SD card included within here has all the games, loads up fine, and delivers a pretty decent experience, especially when considering that low price point. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. I'm going to go easy on it though. It's not my favorite product out there, but when you're not spending much money, you can't really expect a whole lot in return. So that's my review here. For the right person, it does make sense. It has some stuff to offer here for sure. Let me know your thoughts though in the comments of this video. You guys know the deal. If you enjoyed the content today, please give me a thumbs up on the video. It's a huge help to me here on YouTube. And of course, hit subscribe to stay in the loop for all future videos right here on the channel.